Welcome to another edition of Wealth Without Borders podcast. And today I'm delighted to have with me Nadia Bukina. Welcome to the show, Nadia.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Very happy to be here.
It's my pleasure. And whereabouts in the world are you, and what is the weather like?
I am currently in Hangzhou, China. So one of the subtropic regions. And I think so far we had the hottest day. We had 36 degrees today.
Yeah, so starting to heat up in China, I think.
It is. Well, it's always hot in China, both metaphorically and weather-wise.
Yeah, we're going to raise the heat now today with 8 questions. But for those of you who don't know Nadia, she's a marketing professional originally from Kazakhstan, and she came to China only 3 years ago. And fast forward to today, and she's now the CEO of a social media and marketing agency, as she said, in Hangzhou, which is considered by many the Silicon Valley of China. So an amazing story of transformation. And the podcast title is Never Underestimate the Power of Social Media. So I'm really looking forward to this, learning a lot about that. So as you know, Nadia, it's 8 questions in 8 minutes. Are you ready to start?
I am.
Fantastic. So 8 minutes to go. Question number 1, who's your ideal client?
So we as a company serve both Chinese side and foreign side, but I would say our ideal client is not dependent on the geographical location, is a company that wants to expand their horizons. They want to enter a new market. They are ambitious. They want to kind of conquer this world. And that there are the companies that we are ready to provide the marketing support for.
Fantastic. 7 minutes, 24 remaining. Question number 2. What's the main problem you solve for people wanting to do that, conquer the world?
I would say it's a cultural gap. That's actually the main motivation, the main problem that made me open the company and start helping clients, is that naturally, when Chinese company wants to go abroad to US or Europe, they would not have the cultural perception, the cultural heritage that people in Europe or US would have that will help this company to create a relatable content that would help them to expand their business. Same for foreign companies. Those who come in here, they will have a very shallow experience about China and what it is now and how fast it develops. So it might be a bit of a shock for them. Right. So we as a company, we try to fill in this gap and help them with localization and creating their marketing strategy.
Fantastic. And you're living proof of how fast China moves, right? So impressive. All right, 6 minutes, 12 remaining. Question number 3. What are the typical symptoms that people with this cultural lack of awareness experience when they have this problem?
I would say psychologically, as leaders and as a team, it would be a discouragement and kind of apathy towards the market and towards the solution and efforts they've taken. It's always, sometimes it's kind of sadness for all the efforts that were just wasted. And company-wise, these are bad cases, low sales, some not very successful stories. So there is always some sense of missed opportunity because companies this is the purpose of business, to expand and drive more sales. So when this doesn't happen, it always brings this sadness that the opportunity was missed. And I would say this is, the typical symptom, whereas the problems can be countless.
Got you. So 5 minutes, 2 seconds remaining. Question number 4. What are the common mistakes people make when they're trying to solve this problem themselves?
I would say the biggest problem is not asking or not researching enough. So at this moment in nowadays, there are so many consulting companies and consulting professionals that can give you advice for just any price and sometimes even voluntarily. So not asking this advice, not researching by yourself and rushing into decisions, not having a strategy. I would say these are, the biggest, the biggest symptoms.
Okay. Just 4 minutes 19 remaining. Question number 5. What's one valuable free action that people checking out the podcast can implement that will help them solve some, if not all, of this problem?
I would say this is my biggest tip. This is my biggest habit, is to constantly audit the accounts that you have and efforts that you make and see if they bring the necessary return on investment. Because sometimes we just get too caught up and too invested and we just want to happen no matter what. And this is not, business-wise, it's not the best decision.
Right. So step back and really take an audit. Great advice. 3 minutes. Mindfulness, exactly. 3 minutes 35 remaining. Question number 6. What's one valuable free resource that you can direct people to that will further help them with that problem?
I would say, as the problem is not evaluating your decisions, then any customer management system or any analytical tool helps, from the traditional Excel to Power BI to Asana to Monday.com. Anything that helps you keep updated with what's happening in your company and in your marketing department is a good choice.
Fantastic. And 2 minutes 56 remaining. Question number 7. What concept or book or program or talk has been particularly influential in your experience, Nadia?
I would say there has been one book that there are these books that people say they kind of separate your life to before and after. And for me, it was Sapiens, The Short History of Humankind. I honestly discovered so many insights there, both as how we as a humanity work and how the societies were built up and why we have this and that and not like whole other things. Right. So I would say it's a big book. It's very thick, but for bookworms like me, I think it's definitely worth reading.
Right. By the way, we've got a little bit of time. I just noticed something, that many successful people are bookworms. So I encourage bookwormery. 2 minutes remaining. Question number 8. What's one question that you feel I should have asked you that I didn't, that would give great value to people checking out the podcast?
I am a bit ironical to what I do. So I think the best question that you haven't asked is, does somebody as a business absolutely need social media? Because there are many businesses and many stages of different businesses when social media is not that essential.
Interesting. And we've got a minute or so left. When would you say is an essential time to bring in social media then?
I would say, depending on the industry, like social media works best on B2C products. For B2B, it's usually the longer cycle of like acquiring a deal and getting in touch with the person and finding the right person. B2C, social media is a must. B2B, social media is desirable, but also we need to be ready that it takes a considerable amount of time to like pump your social media to the necessary reach. And I think in regards of B2B, if you are a professional, LinkedIn is the best social media for you. Yeah,
I agree. And that's so wonderful. You've come in with a massive 30 seconds remaining. So I'd love to talk longer to you about your journey, because I expect it's been very astounding. Maybe in another future podcast, we can do that.
We can. Happy to talk about it.
Yeah, that would be great. So thank you so much, Nadia. That was packed full of value, and I'm sure you'll get lots of feedback from our audience.
I hope so. I love to hear feedback and what people think and what is their response. Thank you so much again for the invitation.
That's my pleasure. Many thanks for checking out Wealth Without Borders podcast. I'd love you to head over to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a review. And if you'd be kind enough to do that, I would really appreciate it. And then if you want to know more about what I do, check out wealthwithoutborders.net.